Good morning. Committee on Parole is called to order. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. It's 9:00 a.m. My name is Cheryl Renatz. I'm serving as chairman of today's parole panel. My colleagues on the panel this morning are Ms. Carolyn Stapleton to my left, Mr. Pete Freeman to my right. We are at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge, and with staff here at DOC headquarters, please introduce yourself for the record.
Jasmine Thompson.
And Francis Abbott.
All right, thank you. And our first remote location this morning is at LaFourche Parish Prison. And would the staff please introduce yourself for the record?
Deputy Jennifer Exnicious.
Good morning. Thanks for accommodating us this morning.
You're
And
welcome.
we have Mr. Davis. Is that you?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Wendell Davis, 493-262.
All right, Mr. Davis, you're here for a revocation hearing this morning. Do you have, we're going to put a form up on the screen. And I'm going to ask you to confirm if that's your signature. Stand by. Is that your signature at the bottom of that page? Mr. Davis,
Yes, ma'am.
that's your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, based on the information or your answers to those questions, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed with the revocation hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman, so he'll take the lead on asking you some questions. And before we vote, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like to do so.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
All right. You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4, and it states you engaged in criminal activity as evidenced by your arrest on August 22nd, 2023 by the Thibodeau Police Department. You were charged with domestic abuse battery with a dangerous weapon. On February 14th, 2024, the counsel for the state entered a nolle pros on this charge. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
Okay, and then lastly, condition number 10, you owe $3,306 to the Louisiana Department of Corrections and Supervision fees and a processing fee. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
On that, when that I was going to the DOC ma'am.
Guilty or not guilty? You
You're
can explain it in a minute, but just enter the plea first, and then you can explain it.
So with the plea for that.
You have to plead guilty or not guilty.
So I don't know what the plea for that one.
You have to enter a plea of guilty or not guilty.
So not guilty.
You can,
Ma'am?
so not guilty with a statement. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but not guilty with a statement, and then we'll take your statement in just a minute. As I said, your case has been assigned to Mr. Freeman. Please answer his questions.
Okay, Mr. Davis, who is Miss Williams to you?
She is nothing to me, sir.
Okay, well, why y'all keep getting in these little arguments?
Because how did the incident, everything started, how I met her. When I came home, I started cutting grass and stuff like that. And it's like she got like, she started liking me and stuff like that. But she know that I have old lady and stuff. She go like, if she can't have me, nobody else can't have me.
Okay, well, what happened on that day? Y'all went to a birthday party?
No, sir. Never, no birthday party, nothing was never involved.
So you trying to say you wasn't there at all?
I wasn't there at all.
Okay.
I have my witness and everything on Tiffany Bush. That's my fiance and my mother. The day that they said the accident occurring and stuff like that, I was with Tiffany Bush.
Okay, I thought you was at work. You wasn't at work?
No, sir. I was at work the day the police can't ask me about the accident. I was at work that day.
Okay, you called it an accident. Okay, what happened? Do you know?
The police can't ask me, do I know anything about our accident? And I had told them, no, I know nothing about accident. They left. So that night they came by the house and they arrested me. And then when I got to the jail, they told me what they arrested me for.
Okay. How long you been home?
How long I've been home? I've been home 5 years or something off from parole.
Okay. And this happened before, right? With the same lady?
Yeah, the same thing. But when Mr. Bernard Tower, we had posted that when he did the restraining order against her and stuff like that. But he had other things and stuff like that. So I never had heard for her. She never had tried to get in touch with me or anything like that. So the police came and say that about an accident had occurred and stuff like that. But what I sort of did when I got the last time, we did the restraining order on everything. My fiance wanted to do the same thing, and I tried to do it while I wasn't here, but they said I can't do it till I get out with the restraining order.
So you and Miss Williams, you claim have never had a relationship. She just calls these false accusations.
No, we don't have no relationships at all. Like she'll be coming around, be asking for money and stuff like that. She's a drunk. She used drugs and everything and stuff like that. You tell her no, she just I'm not the only person she do this to.
Okay, and do you have any idea how she got the bruises on her arms, the cut lip, and all of that?
No, sir. No, sir. It never had any hospital. I asked for it. Did have any hospital reports or anything? Don't show. What's your name, ma'am? Miss Jennifer. She get in court when the judge read out when she came in. She went to the DA office and when the judge read out that she put on that she lied on me and stuff like that. She went to the DA office and let them know that she had lied on me and everything.
Right. And
That's what the
ma'am,
judge.
how long has he been there with y'all? 7 months now?
About 7 months, yes.
Have you had any problems at all?
No, he hasn't had any issues.
I have no further questions.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to say to us, Mr. Davis, before we vote?
All right, about my payments and stuff, I wasn't working. I was like doing like odd jobs and stuff like, like cutting grass and stuff like for $10, $20 and stuff like that. My parole officer, he helped me get on with the DRC, that's the parole classes. I was going to the DRC and stuff like that. Mr. Barnell Tower, he helped me get a job. I got my TWIC card. I started working at Do Friends. That's like right before I came to jail. I just said I got the job. Look at the best job I had, good decent job I had. Started cutting grass and stuff like that. And all that got took away from me. I ain't had a good decent job, paying job like in years. I've been trying to get on my feet, getting a good job, and I still have to get my job if I be to get out here. If I can't get the job, I got my godmother. She gonna help me get on at Dante Chevrolet with her cleaning. So I still,
So this morning, where is Miss Bush, Tiffany? Where's she at this morning? Did you know you were coming up for a hearing today?
Yes, ma'am. She's outside in the front in the parking lot.
Oh, she didn't join her by Zoom.
No, I written a request form. Only person I written a request form for her to be at the hearing, but they never approved for her to be at the hearing.
Okay.
So she's out in the parking lot just in case she had to talk to y'all.
Okay. All right. No, I think we're prepared to vote.
Can we go to the executive session?
We have a motion. The motion for executive session. Second. We have a second. Can you call the roll?
Cheryl Renaud.
Yes.
P-REV.
Yes.
Carolyn Tate.
Yes. Mr. Davis, we're going to be in executive session for a few moments to discuss confidential matters. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Why didn't you include the approval on Mr. Bernard Tower to be here?
she could get on via, everybody can get on via Zoom.
Yeah, they do it on their own phone or something.
Mhm.
But we didn't know that they came to the, they got approved to come to the jail.
No, they didn't. That's why they're not here.
Oh.
They don't, nobody comes here. You have to get on via
Nobody
Zoom.
never told the parole, so nobody told us.
Yeah.
We
All
thought-
parole hearings.
Oh, we thought they had to be at the jail to come like, you know,
Yeah, no,
that's why they outside in the parking lot.
yeah, no. They would have to get on via Zoom. I think it was on the paper she had.
Let me go on the screen, get why go get a phone.
You go to the court.
Cause written on Mr. Barbarian, he said, and then I got my mom on the call, so. And he said that, and nothing he gonna do about it, but say nobody can do me nothing because I'm from across the river.
Correct. You have to go to the court, to get out.
All right, now, by all making false police reports, what I do about that?
I have no idea. Maybe talk to the district attorney's office.
Okay, we're back in regular session. It's 9:13 and we are prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, Mr. Williams, after, looking at your case, you know, there's a lot going on here and it's real hard to figure out. Obviously, you know, Miss Williams, obviously something's going on there. I don't think she's beating herself up. And, I just don't feel that we've gotten the whole truth today. My vote is to revoke.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I agree. Based upon the same reasons.
Mr. Davis, and I don't, you have a history of domestic abuse, arrest with this same woman. So my vote today also is to revoke. Today, sir, your parole is being revoked. You can reapply at such time as you're eligible to do so. Good luck to you, sir.
All right.
We're sign off at 9:14. Thank you, Deputy Ignatius, for
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We are now at East Baton Rouge Parish Prison on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. It is 9:20 a.m. I'd like to ask the officer, please introduce yourself for the record at East Baton Rouge. Can y'all hear us?
Make yourself honest.
Can you hear us, officer?
Yes, we can hear you.
Officer, introduce yourself for the record, sir.
Okay, I'm Captain Barry Miles, Chief of Intake and Release.
All right, thanks, Captain Miles, for accommodating us this morning. And Mr. Rizzo,
Yes, ma'am.
you introduce yourself, tell us your name and your DOC number.
Daniel Rizzo, 755-792, ma'am.
All right, and let me acknowledge that some folks we have here that have joined us, I think you can see on the screen, your father, Mr. Camilo Rizzo, who'll be speaking on your behalf. Also joining by Zoom is Carrie Rizzo, your sister-in-law, and your Aunt Maria Skiles. My name is Cheryl Renatza, Mr. Rizzo, and seated to my left is Mrs. Stapleton, and to my right is Mr. Freeman. We're here for a revocation decision this morning. We're gonna put up a form on the screen, and I want you to tell me if that's your signature at the bottom of that page.
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
January 10th of this year, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And based on the information in that form, your answers to those questions, it has been determined you're not eligible for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to read the allegations against you, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Then we'll have a conversation. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll take the lead on the interview questions. Once we're done with our questions, we'll hear from your dad, and before we vote, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you want to. Okay? All right, so you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 3, which states you are accused of supervision and leaving the state of Louisiana without the permission of the supervising parole agent. This accusation is evidenced by your subsequent arrest in the state of Florida by the Florida Highway Patrol on R1. The last seen in person by probation and parole on November 12, 2021. How do you plead to violating condition number 3?
Unknowingly guilty.
Guilty with a state?
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll get your statement in just a second. Okay, and then condition number 10, you have failed to pay your supervision fees as evidenced by an arrearage, $1,764. How do you plead to that violation?
Also guilty with a statement, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. So you wrote us a letter in March where you said you didn't have any bill of particulars or the summary of your preliminary hearing, and you have since been provided that document?
Yes, ma'am. Just the other day.
Last week. Okay, good. So tell us about, I know in that letter you say you thought you were off the parole, but in our record, and you signed your parole certificate, which was dated, or you signed it rather, July 20th, 2021, where it clearly states you are on parole till April 7th, 2025. So
Yes,
tell us why you said unknowingly absconded.
Yes, ma'am. Because my parole officer, like I called him, and he finally told me, he said, "Stop calling me. You don't need to call me anymore. If I need you, I'll call you." So I stopped calling him, and because he got really angry. So I went to Miss Moffitt and asked her. I said, "Could you please be my parole officer? This man doesn't want to deal with me. I'm trying to do the right thing. I don't want to get in any trouble." And she said, "I can't, that I'm over violent offenders and you're not a violent offender." So I can't remember the name of the other person I asked to please, switch the parole officer. And so I called him again because I was moving And he didn't answer the phone. Finally answers the phone and tells me, he's like, look, stop calling me. I told you that. I said, look, I'm calling you because I'm moving. And he said that he never got contact of that. But he told me, look, stop calling me at the end of parole or at the halftime of parole. If you have not gotten any trouble, I'm going to write you off parole. And that's it. You don't got to worry about this no more. And I don't got to worry about you. I said, sir, look, I'm not from here. I'm just trying to do the right thing, and I think this, evident. I haven't gotten any trouble. I tried to do everything that I was supposed to do. See, somebody used my ID in Florida and, it was all messed up while I was in prison. So I had to clear that up and they wouldn't print me ID here. So I put in 207 applications here, somewhere close to 200 some applications without getting a job because every time I went, they wanted to copy my ID and I couldn't, do anything. So I went down to take care of these problems. My brother, he's sick. He's about, I'm sure that they're going to tell you the same thing. I need a surgery right now and to go to the gastro doctor. You guys are taking me to all these doctors here because I have a lot of health
Okay, in your letter, you explained a lot of your medical issues. So you say you called your officer and said you were moving. Where were you moving to?
The place that I lived for, almost 2 years while I was here, Hammond Manor Drive. I even got in my car, but it happens to be down there, of course. I've got where I recorded on another phone, me leaving a message to him saying this because he just would not get back to me.
When did you move?
Well, that was, I can't remember exactly when. I'm talking about when I first got on parole.
Yeah, didn't you go to Joseph Homes first?
I tried to go there, but I got a car accident on the way there. I went the day later, and they wouldn't let me in, so I had to find a place to live. And then I was staying in a hotel because I couldn't get a hold of my family when I first got out.
Yeah, and you were not very cooperative with the folks at Joseph's Home. So you went from there you moved around a few times, didn't you?
I never spoke to them except for one time. I brought them the paperwork from the hospital the next day, and she said because you weren't here that day, it was no argument or anything. It was just
right. Yeah. Well, the information we had from them says you had an attitude. You kept changing your story, and there were other issues. So then you moved to Convention Street in Baton Rouge.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's that?
That was just a rental.
Okay, and then from where did you go?
To a hotel. I can't remember the name of it.
Then you went to Myrtle Avenue.
Ma'am, it cut out. I didn't hear you.
Then you went to Myrtle Avenue. Right?
Yes.
And then you ended up being on Sherwood somewhere.
Yeah, that was the hotel. I can't remember the name of it.
I saw that. And did you get a permit to go to Florida?
No, ma'am. Like I said, I thought it was the halftime was well over with. I thought I know it sounds stupid, and I apologize for it, but I really wasn't trying to do anything wrong. I was trying to help my father and my family and get my license, straightened out so I could be, doing odd jobs to try to make it here.
When did you first go to?
It cut out again. I'm sorry, ma'am.
When did you first go to Florida?
I was there 1 week, from Monday to Monday.
So we have a note in the record. So when was that? December?
Yes, December. I think it's the 4th through the 11th.
Yeah, you say you left in December and was arrested. Right, the 4th, you were arrested on December 11th on our warrant. Why were you stopped?
My next door neighbor down there to my father, parks his truck. It was a code enforcement truck, right in the driveways, and I just barely touched it. First accident I ever had in my life. It was my fault, and they ran my name and told me I had a fugitive. I waited 4 hours for the cops to show up. I thought there was no problem. If I really thought that there was a problem, I wouldn't have sat there and waited, Your Honor. I mean, nobody would.
What's your level of education?
I have a GED, ma'am.
All right, and what about, oh, so the fees are, you said you submitted over 200 applications and you didn't have proper identification.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you discharge when you were placed on discharge from?
River Bend.
So you didn't have an ID from them? They didn't?
No. I mean, I had a plastic ID, but not a state ID, and they wouldn't print me one because of what happened in Florida. Like I said, somebody got pulled over and used my ID twice, saying that they were me somehow. They didn't even have the ID on them. They just used my information.
That was probably somebody, no. Okay, let me ask my colleagues if they have any other questions. No? All right, well, let's hear from your father. Oh, wait.
Quick, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
go ahead.
Do you have a place to stay now? If,
Yes, sir.
not to revoke, where would you be staying?
Well, I'm trying to see if they give me. I talked to my parole officer. He said he'd give me a work pass because like I said, my brother is in really bad health, and my father needs. We have a restaurant. He needs to go stay with his son so that they can go to a different state because he needs surgery. And so he told me if I get paroled, that he'd give me a work pass until they could transfer me. Then I
Who told you that?
Mr. New, my parole officer.
Mr. Who?
Mr. New.
Okay, thank you.
And the work pass you're saying is to Florida?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But if I need a place here for a while, I have a friend that I could stay with.
Where's that at?
I don't have the address with me. It's over by the mall, Louisiana.
Who's the friend?
Jarvis Watson.
Yeah, you know, to go to Florida, you'll have to have an interstate compact approved. You are on supervision until that date in 2025 that I mentioned. Where is it? 7th. Regardless of what anybody else tells you, you've been on for that long.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Hear from your father. Mr. Rizzo, what would you like us to know, sir? You don't have, is your audio on?
Jasmine, it asked to unmute.
I mean, I think you're trying to find me.
Do you see a little microphone icon on your screen? Press that. He's pushing it. Is he connected to audio?
But went off for a second.
We're going to call you on the phone. We're going to call you. Just bring the phone over here. Talk to him.
And he's gonna have to turn the volume down, whatever device.
We're going to try to talk to you on the phone, sir. Okay, can you hear us, Mr. Reason? Okay, go ahead. We're going to do it on the phone. We couldn't get your audio to work, so tell us what you'd like us to know.
I'd like to know if EUGENIO said it's a good idea. Not just because it's my son. I really need a bit of, I took at the restaurant, and I can use his help. I got my son in bad an operation in his spine. He's got an infection in his spine, so we're going to take him both on me. And I'll try to be supportive of him and take care of his kid. And if I don't get Jenny over here to watch the restaurant, I end up closing the restaurant. And that's our means of living.
Right.
So if you help us out, I'll appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. We're going to, I'm going to go ahead and hang up the phone. Can you hear us on your screen, on your computer?
I can hear you guys now.
Okay,
I won't be able to see you. I don't know why. It's one of them.
well, we're gonna, go ahead and ask him for his statement, then we'll be voting. Thanks for, your comments this morning. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, Gino, what would you like us, is there a statement you'd like to tell us?
Yes, I really would. Like, I haven't gotten any other trouble. I'm not a person that's in this system all the time. This is the second time I've ever been in trouble in my life. You know, I will not cause any trouble. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. You know, and I really was trying to. I know it looks maybe different from the outside, but I don't need 2 chances or 3 chances. I need 1. That's all. Please let me help my family. And like I said, I need a surgery too after he gets a surgery, and they won't do it in here. They're bringing me 2 times a week to New Orleans from here to do physical therapy and stuff like that, and it's just miserable. I promise you. I promise you. Give me a chance, and that's all I need. You'll never hear from me again.
And you, the record indicated, Mr. Rizzo, that, or you did on your questionnaire, that you, have a mental health diagnosis
Yes, ma'am.
and that you've not had your medication since March of last year.
Yes, ma'am. That's the other thing. I had Medicaid here, and I was trying to see the doctor. Ma'am,
So how are you without the medication?
I seem to be a lot better with your diet and stuff. I've been trying to handle it that way, and I've gotten a lot. I was married and this and that, and it was, a chaotic situation there. Since I've not had that issue anymore, it seems to be a lot better. You know, like I said, I talk to my father every day, and we're best friends. So that's the only person I hang out with.
All right, so I think we're prepared to vote, and I'll be voting first. Mr. Rizzo, my vote's going to be do not revoke, but you can't go. You can't get the work permit. You got to have the interstate.
Right, they're not gonna be able to give you a travel permit because if they find you down there while they're trying to transfer the case, they will not accept the case.
So there's you got. So depending on how it goes today,
Yeah, we'll tell you.
we'll tell you what you got to do. I will add, if you are not revoked, I want to add special conditions, no matter whether you're here or if you end up over there by your dad, that you do obtain mental health evaluation, and you got to comply with any treatment medications that they may prescribe for you. And then I'll defer to my colleagues for any other special conditions. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, my vote is the same. I think you've been in jail around 4 months. I don't think you're trying to lose all. You just got in a rut, and you can't do that. You gotta have the permission of the probation officer before you go out of state. But my vote should be to do not revoke, for you to apply interstate compact through your office. And if he approves of that resident that you have here in Baton Rouge with your friend, you can go home and stay with him until the interstate compact is, and he can give you a travel permit to go visit your father. That's my vote today with the same condition as Mr. Knott.
Mrs. Stapleton?
I agree with my colleagues completely.
All right, do you understand?
Yes, and I appreciate the chance, and I won't let you down.
I hope not. So got to work with your parole officer, get in touch with him right away to work on that interstate compact. And you won't be released until parole officer approves that residence in Baton Rouge with your friend.
How do I get a?
We're gonna get a hold, they'll get a hold to him and tell him he needs to go check out their residence, and we'll let you out if it's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Back to you.
Thank you much.
That concludes our business at East Baton Rouge. Thank you, Captain Niles, for accommodating us. We're going to sign off at 9:39.
You have a good day.
Good morning. The Committee on Parole, we are reconvening at Vernon Parish Jail on April 23rd, 2024. It's 9:47 a.m. Officer, would you introduce yourself for the record, please, sir?
So, W. Officer, Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for accommodating us this morning. And we are ready for Mr. Daniel Lewis. Is he in the room? We can't see him. Your camera needs to be adjusted downward, or he needs to stand up or something. There you go. All right, sir. Mr. Lewis, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please.
David Lewis, my DOC number is 050403.
All right, Mr. Lewis, my name is Cheryl Renatza. This is Mrs. Stapleton to my left, Mr. Freeman to my right. You're here for a revocation decision this morning. And we're going to put up a form on the screen, and I'd like to see for you to verify if that's your signature at the bottom of that page. Hold on, we're going to do it. There you go. Is that your signature, Mr. Lewis, dated March 21st of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So based on your answers to those questions, Mr. Lewis, it's been determined you're not eligible for appointed counsel. So are you ready to proceed with your revocation hearing this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to read the allegations against you, and you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then we'll have an interview with you led by Mrs. Stapleton. Once we finish with the interview, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like before we vote. Okay?
No.
You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole, specifically condition number 4, and it states you committed domestic abuse battery with child endangerment, which led to your arrest on or about June 5th, 2023 by the Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office. On or about March 7, 2024, you pled guilty to disturbing the peace. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
That's right.
You plead guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty to disturbing the peace.
So you plead guilty to violating condition number 4.
No, ma'am.
So how do you plead to violating condition 4 of your parole conditions?
I'm sorry, not guilty.
Not guilty. And then condition number 10, which has to do with your fees, it says you are $819 in arrears in supervision fees. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
The only reason why I'm in the rear because I've been here, but.
Yes, sir. I need to enter your plea of guilty or not guilty. You can explain it when Ms. Stapleton asks you your questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Guilty or not guilty?
I'm guilty right now because
Guilty. Okay. All right. Would you answer Mrs. Stapleton's questions, please?
Good morning, sir. I got a couple of questions. The first one, I want to start out with the domestic violence situation with Ms. Dotson. Is she your fiance?
my wife.
She's your wife now. Okay, she's your wife. Okay, can you explain to me what happened that she would call the police? And they did take pictures of the different injuries and the child was involved. Can you explain what happened there that the police would respond and actually believe your wife on what was being said? I know she recanted later, but tell me what happened, please.
Okay, well, we had, she seen something on my phone and she got mad.
Mhm.
She was mad and she just got to acting crazy. But I never put my hands on her and my kid was never in danger.
Pardon, I'm sorry?
I said, she was acting crazy that night, like, because she seen something on my phone, she was acting she got all mad. And she just called the police, but my kids never was in danger because they wouldn't be much around us, like when we was arguing.
Where are your children at, sir?
My kids in Lake Charles right now. Lake Charles, Louisiana,
Why are they in Lake Charles?
because that's where they stay.
Okay. So the younger children were just present, is that what you were saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're saying you didn't hit her in any way?
Not at all.
And then the money that you're in arrears for, what's causing that?
Locked up.
Pardon?
I've been here 11 months almost.
Because you were locked up? What about prior to that? Were you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Had a regular job? Were you paying on your fees during the time you were working?
Yes, I was. The only thing I was in the rear of was $200 and some. I was in the rear Then, like $200 and some dollars.
Okay, you were in arrears only $200 something.
Yeah.
And so when all this came about, she was your fiance, and since then y'all have gotten married. Is that correct?
She was my wife the whole time. Her name is Delexia Dotson Lewis.
Pardon?
Her name is Delexia Dotson Lewis.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, police report, I was just seeing Dotson and then it was saying fiance, so, I don't have any other questions. I'll refer to my other colleagues.
Okay.
Mr. Freeman?
Okay, why did your daughter have the bat?
Ma'am? I mean,
Why did your daughter have a baseball bat?
somebody had a baseball bat?
It says,
I don't know nothing about no baseball bat.
you say you took it out your daughter's hand and it cut her lip accidentally.
Sir, I wasn't even around when the police came. No, sir. I never talked to no police or nothing, sir.
And, you say you were working, right? Where were you working at?
Specialty services and equipment in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
That's all I have.
So, Mr. Lewis, where's your wife today?
She in Lake Charles right now, ma'am.
She knew you were coming up for a hearing today?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in a minute.
Do you know you were coming up for a hearing today?
Ma'am, I did.
Okay, well, everything you're telling us contradicts what she told police. So that's gonna be an issue. Is there a statement you'd like to make to us before we vote?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, well, we'll be voting. Mrs. Stapleton will be voting first.
Okay.
I vote to revoke based upon the domestic violence, battery with endangerment of child.
Mr. Freeman?
I concur with Ms. Stapleton. I think a lot more went on here and, I vote to.
Mr. Lewis, I do agree with my colleagues. My vote today, based on the evidence that's in the record that a battery occurred, my vote today is to revoke your parole. So, sir, your parole's being revoked today. We'll send you information on when you can reapply for another parole hearing. Good luck to you, sir. All right, that concludes our business in Vernon. Thanks so much, officers, for accommodating us. We're going to sign off. It's 9:55.
Ma'am.
All right, good morning. Mr. Daniels, can you hear us okay?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So let me
Yes,
do some
ma'am.
preliminaries. We are the Committee on Parole. We are reconvening on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024, and we are at the CATAHOULA Correctional Center. Mr. Daniels, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Derrick Lane Daniel, 539415.
What is that again? Oh,
Derrick
yeah.
Lane.
I have a
Derrick,
typo. Right. I got it. 539415. Is that what you said?
yes, ma'am.
All right, I got it. I had the wrong number written down. We're going to put a parole revocation questionnaire up on the screen, Mr. Daniels. I want to confirm if that's your signature on the page.
Okay.
Stand by. I'll put it up. Okay, you see that? Is that your signature dated February 20th of this year, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Daniels, based on the information contained in that questionnaire, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed with your revocation hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't introduce us to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza, serving as your chairman today. Seated to my left is Mrs. Stapleton, and to my right is Mr. Freeman. We are your parole panel today. I'm going to read the allegations against you, Mr. Daniels, and you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then we'll interview you, ask you some questions about your plea and what happened. You'll be allowed to make a statement at the end if you'd like to before we vote. You
Yes,
ready?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You're accused of violating the conditions of your parole. You're accused of violating condition number 4, and it states, on December 17, 2023, you were involved in criminal activity resulting in your arrest by the Jonesville Police Department for domestic abuse battery, 2 counts. You pled guilty to simple battery on March 5th, 2024, and was sentenced to 80 days in parish jail with credit for time served. How do you plead to violating condition number 4? Guilty or not guilty?
What that mean, ma'am?
So I read the allegation that you violated condition number 4, and that's, I'm gonna read it again. It says on December 7th, 2023, you were involved in criminal activity resulting in your arrest by the Jonesville Police Department for domestic abuse battery, 2 counts. You pled guilty to simple battery on March 5th, 2024, and were sentenced to 80 days in parish jail with credit for time served. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Oh, guilty.
And then it states in condition number 10, where it says you are in arrears $320 in supervision fees. How do you plead to violation of condition number 10?
Guilty.
Okay, would you answer Mrs.
Guilty.
Stapleton, please? Okay, we got it. Answer Ms. Stapleton, please.
Good morning, Mr. Daniels. I have a couple of questions. One of them very serious. The first violation, you were originally charged with domestic abuse battery, and you took a plea of simple battery. Can you explain what happened?
Me and my old lady had got into it. One night I had pulled up, and for some reason this night she just was mad. And me and her had got in an argument, and she had called Jonesville Police Department, and they had locked me up. And she also had said that I had hit one of my daughters, but when I had snatched the belt out of her hand, that must have made her mouth bleed.
Okay, so you had a child present. Now,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
would cause a child to go get a bat when a fight was going on? Why would you even do
Because
that?
me and her mama was into.
Was she afraid that her mother would
Cause
get
man,
hurt?
yes, ma'am.
So it must have been pretty heated that she thought, I better go get something so that I can stop him from hurting my mother. Do you think maybe that was why she'd get the bat anyway?
No, man, it wasn't like that, ma'am. It wasn't like that.
Well, tell me again, what was it like?
Like I said, when I pulled up, man, her had an argument, and my daughter had a bat, and my daughter was trying to hit me with the bat, and I had snatched the bat from her. But no, I'm talking about it wasn't no. I mean, it wasn't no big semen like that, though.
Okay, so your daughter was the aggressor. You didn't do anything to cause her to say, I want to hit my daddy with a bat.
No, man.
Fashion.
I mean, she probably wanted to hit me with it because me and her mama were arguing.
Okay. All right. Well, that's my major concern. So I'll pass it along to my colleagues.
All right, so, what's your wife's name?
Daniels.
Is it, so the statement is Augerson, Tamika Augerson?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Is that her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is she today?
She supposed to have been here, but I don't know what happened.
All right, well, is there a statement you'd like to make to us before we vote?
I'm sorry for what I did, and it'll never happen again, man. I love my girlfriend and my kids, man.
Your wife or your girlfriend?
My girlfriend, and I'm just hoping y'all just send me back home, cause I had a good job. I finna get at the police jury in Suffolk, Louisiana. I'm really trying, man. I just hope y'all just give me another chance, man.
All right, I think we are prepared to vote. Mrs. Stapleton will be voting first.
I vote to revoke based upon the domestic violence battery. And didn't say with child endangerment, but clearly that was involved. So I vote to revoke.
Mr. Freeman?
I also vote to revoke. He pled guilty to misdemeanor battery and admitted there was an altercation.
Mr. Daniels, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote today also is to revoke. You pled to the misdemeanor battery, and as Mr. Freeman said, you admitted something that happened. So today, sir, your parole's being revoked. You will receive information from us on when you can reapply for a parole hearing. Good luck to you, sir. That concludes our business, and have a
Hi. Hi. I love you, Evie. I love you.
All right, good morning.
That I could buy.
The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're at Ouachita Correctional Center on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. It's 10:16 a.m. I'd like for the officer there at Ouachita to please introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning, it's Deputy Marchand.
Thank you so much for accommodating us again this morning, Mr. Marchand. And we have, I'd like to ask the offender, please introduce yourself. Tell us your name and DOC number.
BRANT ANSELMI, 716788.
Yes, sir, Mr. Anselmi, and let me introduce the panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. Mrs. Stapleton is seated to my left. Mr. Freeman is seated to my right. I want to acknowledge that we also have some guests that are joining us. We have your mother, Ms. Broussard, and your cousin Jordan, both of whom will be speaking on your behalf. And we also have your sister Britlin, who is watching, but she will not be speaking this morning. So I'll read some identifying information into the record, after which I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Stapleton. Your case has been assigned to her. She'll take the lead on the interview. Once we are done with our questions, we'll hear from the folks who've indicated they want to speak, and then you'll be allowed to make a statement at the end.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Anselmi, you are classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 14-year sentence. You were sentenced in November 14, 2016 for aggravated battery, indecent behavior with a juvenile. Then you have another sentencing date, September 25th, 2018, aggravated second-degree battery. Those sentences are running consecutively, so it is a 14-year sentence. Parole eligibility date has passed. That was October 8th, 23. Your good time date is September 24th, 2027. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, would you answer Mrs. Stapleton?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I see that, well, good morning.
Good morning.
I see that on the first charge that happened 2015. And
Yes,
of course,
ma'am.
I read that it was actually a scam. It was a Facebook scam, and y'all went to the person's house. Can you tell me something about that particular charge?
Well, it was a scam at first, like everything, it was, I guess you could say teenagers being teenagers, but I really got set up on the whole ordeal. But in the end, they got me with indecent behavior with a juvenile because I was 17 and she was 15. But it was just, I guess you could say teenagers being teenagers, man. I mean.
Okay, so that's the juvenile rape. You were 17 and she was 15 with that happen?
Yes, ma'am. That's what the indecent behavior with a juvenile came in at.
Were y'all boyfriend and girlfriend?
I mean, we were seeing each other for some months. We never identified each other as boyfriend and girlfriend, but we had been seeing each other for months.
Was it consensual? Are you saying it was consensual?
Yes, ma'am. That's how I got indecent behavior with a juvenile, because she had came to court and let the judge know that it was consensual. Her mom was trying to push the issue. Her mother was pushing the issue on the rape charge.
Okay. Can you tell me about the Facebook issue? The one that you had a victim and it was a Facebook situation. You went to the house and then you were charged.
The aggravated battery?
Do you remember the one in 2015 that y'all went and you stole $8 from a person, Mr. Lancome?
Yes, ma'am. It wasn't a more of a scam. It wasn't really about the money. The person that did something to my cousin, which he took some pictures out of my cousin's phone and some naked pictures at that, and sent it to the whole family. And I mean, it was really for us to really beat him up, but we ended up getting his money instead. I was young. I couldn't think at the time, honestly. I was young and dumb. Now I've been in jail 9 years. I done changed a whole lot. If I could speak to him right now, I'd apologize. And if I could take it back, I would, but unfortunately I can't. And, I've learned from my mistakes and I'm just ready for my second chance to be able to, go out there. I came to jail when I was 17. I haven't been home ever since.
You're 17 when you went to his house a month. That's your first offense, I see
Right.
here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
17. Now, he did release a statement. I'm not reading the whole thing, but he said it was okay to say it. One of the conditions that he had, if you were to be released, would be that there would be no contact.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, if you wanted to write an accountability letter or something like that.
I most definitely would love to. Honestly, I would love to. And apologize for, my wrongs, honestly.
All right, I think that would be a good thing for you to do. I see here that you've attended a lot of programs. One of the things he asked if you attended was an anger management program.
Yes, ma'am, I did. Yes, ma'am. In 2018, I graduated anger management.
That's very good. And then I see that you attended sex offenders 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that you were young and that y'all were both young when that happened.
Right.
Okay. And can you tell me something else about your programs?
I'm certified I'm certified in CPR. I'm certified forklift, NCCR. I'm certified in micrometer. I have my high set. I just took my high set a month ago, I think. I got my high set. I think that's all my classes.
One more question I have for you about your offenses. 2017 was an aggravated battery in 2nd degree in prison.
Right.
And there was a video that showed you to be the aggressor. Can you explain what happened there?
Well, in being incarcerated, it's basically a respect thing. And, I don't mean to play the race card or nothing, but as a young white boy in jail, it's hard. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's hard. And he was jacking off in the shower while looking at me, and that's a big old no-no. And if I let him get away with it, then everybody's gonna feel like they can do it. And that's another one if I could take it back, I promise you it would have never happened. If I can honestly go back and I'll write him an accountability letter and everything, if I can go back, I honestly would apologize to every one of my victims, honestly. Because like I said, that case too, I was still young. Honestly, it was a respect thing with the whole situation, the whole scenario. It was a respect thing. And it just happened how it happened, and I regret it. I honestly do. I regret it a lot.
See something. It's a miracle he didn't die. He was stabbed in his head and his torso. That could have been a murder. So that's more than you got to respect me. I can see hitting somebody in the jaw and say, "Don't do this to me," but it got somebody. Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but see, what they didn't put in the report is he also had a weapon. He just didn't hit me with it. Yeah, he didn't hit me with it. He also had a weapon though. He just didn't get a chance to hit me with his weapon. I'm not with the knives and all that. I'm not really too much with that. But to protect myself, I'd have to.
I understand.
I had to protect myself, and he was a big boy. I don't know if y'all got the pictures. He was a big boy.
Okay, well, for myself, that's all my questions, and then I'll pass it to my.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Mr. Anselmi, let me advise you that there is opposition by the sentencing judge, by the sheriff in Ouachita Parish, the police chief in Monroe, and West Monroe are all opposed to an early release for you.
Ma'am, I'm
just letting you know.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Not what you do about it, but you need to be aware of it.
Right.
So what is it? You said you've been in jail 9 years. What do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am. My Jordan Tron actually has me a job. My cousin that's on here right now, he has me a job.
What do you do in prison?
I haven't had a job. My father was trying to get me shipped down south to be on a road crew as a weed eater and lawnmower, you know, doing that. But they never gave me a job. It's hard to get a job in jail. Like you have to honestly tell on something to get a job. And
Yeah. You never asked for a job.
yes, ma'am. I wrote plenty of requests in a lot of facilities that I've been in.
You were in work release at one point in time. What happened there?
I've never been to work release, ma'am.
Tangipahoa Parish?
Yes, ma'am, but I wasn't in the work release program.
It says you were, but I guess.
No, I was never eligible for work release besides my last 4 years.
Tangipahoa Parish Jail and Transitional Work Program, 2019.
I wasn't even eligible for parole then, ma'am. I mean, for work release.
Well, let me ask the officer there, Deputy Marchand, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Anselmi?
He's been with us a few times since 2017. He's never had an incident or write-up while here. And we would like to put him to work, but OCC policy is due to the aggravated nature of his charges, he isn't qualified or isn't opportunity to work here, even though we'd like to, but that's sheriff's orders. So, but no, since he's been here with us, he's been a model inmate for us.
All right, good to hear. Thank you, sir. We'll hear from the folks that want to speak on your behalf. First, we'd like to hear from your mother, Ms. Broussard.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Broussard, what would you like us to know? Your microphone's on mute. We can't hear you. Unmute your mic, please.
Can you hear me now?
Ma'am.
Okay. I just think Brant, he's a great kid. He really is. He's had some misfortune, some unfortunate incidents, but he's a great kid. He has a job waiting on him. He has a residence waiting on him, and he has a whole community waiting on him. We just want him to come home.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us this morning. And Jordan Trahan, we'd like to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am. Pretty much what I wanted to say is being in contact with him from the beginning. It was rough, you know, the first couple of years, but the past I can say like 4 years, he has grown a lot. I can call myself somewhat of a mentor for him. I just really wanted to come join the meeting to show my support, let you guys know that he does have a job waiting. I have been running my own company for about 3.5, 4 years, and I would love to have him by my side. As soon as he does get an opportunity to be released, I'll be there for him to kind of help him get back into the swing of things with society, getting him on the right track, maybe potentially opening up his own business.
Okay, thank you, sir, for joining us this morning. I just have one more question, Mr. Anselmi. You have a loss of good time in March of 2021. What was that for?
A phone?
That's why when you were at Riverbend?
Yes, ma'am.
That was the con.
Is that your last write-up?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a problem with drugs, alcohol when you was on the street?
Yes, sir.
Have you taken any classes for that?
I was in substance abuse, but they shipped me from I think it was, I want to say Caldwell. I was in substance abuse, but they shipped me before I can finish it.
Do you think you need substance abuse treatment?
I haven't done drugs in over 4 years, I think, sir. I think it's 4 years. I haven't done any drugs.
Right, but they can come back to haunt you, you know.
Right.
That.
Once an addict, always an addict, most definitely. But
I want to hear that. Okay.
Anything you want to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I'd honestly just love a second chance. Like I said, you know, I'm a second time offender, but both of my I've only been in jail one time my entire life. This is the first time, and I promise you it's going to be the last. I just need my second chance so I can come show my family. My mom needs me very bad. I just would love for my second chance, please.
Right. Pam prepared to vote? We have a motion for executive session by Mrs. Stapleton,
Second.
second by Mr. Freeman. Can you do the roll call, please?
Cheryl Renowski.
Yes.
Steve Freeman.
Yes.
Pam Stapleton.
Yes.
Mr. Anselmi, we have voted. We will be in executive session for just a few moments to discuss confidential matters. Just stand by. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Anselmi, we are back in regular session. It's 10:35 and we are ready to vote, and Mrs. Stapleton will be voting first.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Anselmi, my vote is to grant you parole today. And I'll have a special condition of that you attend Thinking for Change and see your mother on Zoom. You know what it's like to be a mother, so you know, and I know that your cousin has something waiting for you. So I'm so happy you have good family support, and I pray with them that from this day forward, your life is different and improved, and that you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Freeman.
Okay, Mr. Anselmi, my vote is also gonna be grant conditional upon you completing that class. You have no contact whatsoever with any of the victims. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If you get around those victims, you best leave.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I'm kind of worried about your drug problem, but you'll be living in Abbeville, so the closest place we got for you would be Lafayette. Do they have some AA meetings in Abbeville?
Yes, sir.
Let's start out taking 2 of those for the first a week, for the first 6 months, and then you decide.
I sure will, sir. I thank y'all so much.
All right, Mr. Anselmi, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote today is to grant your parole with those stipulations. Now, listen, you have to take the Thinking for Change prior to release.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So we'll
ma'am.
get you, I don't know if they have it there. If they don't, we're gonna.
They do. They do.
Okay, so we'll get you enrolled in that program.
Yes,
And then,
ma'am.
after release, you, attend 2 AA meetings a week for 6 months, and then as you think you need to.
Yes,
No
ma'am.
contact with any of your victims whatsoever.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, look, you're a second offender, but you got 3 crimes, and we don't want to see you again.
It's I'm never coming back to jail. I can promise y'all that.
All right, good deal.
I thank y'all so much.
We're gonna sign off at 10:37. Thanks, Deputy Marshall, for accommodating us this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
about now?
I still don't hear anything. It probably hasn't
Huh?
it probably hasn't started yet either though.
Maybe not.
Then I know at the like when it was loading up or whatever, it said to keep it muted until they ask me something or whatever. And then
Okay, well, it's not muted here, so.
no, they were saying to keep it when it was loading up, it was saying to keep it muted until they ask me something and then unmute it and then ask.
So they just letting you not hearing everything, just when they want to talk to you.
All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We are at Franklin Parish Detention Center on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. It's 10:45 a.m. I think y'all are still on mute. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
All right, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
How is everyone doing today? My name is JATAVIUS Atkins. My DOC number is 762-916.
Mr. Atkins, let me introduce the parole panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. Seated to my left is Mrs. Stapleton, and to my right is Mr. Freeman. I want to recognize that we have some guests that have joined us. We have your mother, Miss Atkins, and your uncle, Mr. Mitchell, both who want to speak on your behalf, and at the appropriate time, we'll ask them to do so.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask, I guess that's your mother, Miss Atkins, can you get to a stationary place so you're not moving around?
Yes, ma'am.
Turn off your camera till you get there because it's distracting. There you go. Okay. So Mr. Atkins, let me read some identifying information into the record. I'm going to ask you to confirm it. Then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Freeman. He'll take the lead on the interview. Once we finish all our questions, we'll hear from your mother and your uncle. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a statement if you'd like before we vote.
Yes,
Ready?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Atkins, you are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 15-year sentence. You were sentenced in Caddo Parish in August of 2021 for molestation of a juvenile. You have a parole eligibility date, which is passed. It was September 21st of last year. You don't earn good time, and your full term date is September 23rd of 2033. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, would you answer Mr. Freeman, please?
Okay. All right, Mr. Atkins, how old are you?
I'm currently 26 years old.
Okay, and how long have you been in jail?
What is 7 years?
And your total sentence was 15 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your education level?
The 10th grade.
Okay, have you tried to get your GED since you've been in prison?
Yes, sir. I have tried multiple times to get enrolled into the GED program, but I was told due to my full term day, my out day, I had too much time to get into those classes.
Okay. Were you drinking or on drugs when this event occurred?
Oh, no, sir.
Tell me what happened. What happened between you and your niece, your cousin?
Oh, well, really, to me, it was all just a big misunderstanding amongst the both of us, or whatever the case may be. And I took a plea deal. I took a plea deal in the court to get a lesser charge, basically. So, and that's all it was.
Okay, so you trying to say it never happened?
Well, I take full accountability for my actions, but it's a sexual. At first, I was charged with sexual battery and a rape, and they dropped it from sexual battery and the rape to the molestation of the juvenile, which the molestation never happened. There was never intercourse. That never happened. It was more of a sexual battery thing happened, which was like, from my understanding, like the touching part. Like I touched you.
Had you ever touched any other of your kinfolks?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you had another cousin that had said that, she'd be lying?
I didn't hear you. What was it?
Said if another young lady had made those accusations, she'd be lying?
Yes, sir.
You have very, very strong opposition from law enforcement, which is to be expected. Opposed is Ramona Emanuel, the judge. Assistant District Attorney Alexander Perubitsky. The DA said the Caddo Parish District Attorney's Office opposed early release for the defendant, JATAVIUS Atkins, based upon the nature of the conviction, the extreme use of the offender, and the length of time over which abuse occurred. And she went on to say some other things, and she feels that you could still pose a threat. Sheriff is opposed, and so is Wayne Smith with the Shreveport Police Department. Unopposed is Laquila Atkins. I think that's your mother. She said she thinks you got your life back on track.
Yes, sir.
So that's what she said. Okay, did you take any other classes besides the sex offender class?
Currently at the facility that I'm at, they did not offer any other classes, so that was the only class I was able to get into and complete.
Okay, so that's the only class they offered was the sex offender class?
Yes, sir. I tried when I first got to this facility. I tried multiple times also to get into other classes, which they had forklifting, computer classes, and they also told me the exact same thing about the GED program, that I have too much time to get into those classes. But I have tried multiple times to get into those classes.
Okay. The victim's mother, Miss Ebony Sims, says she has no conflict, that it's all, it's all family related. So she didn't want to make a comment. You have a low risk, moderate need. Where are you planning on living? Where are you planning on working?
Yeah, I have a job offer into the oil field. I plan on living in Shreveport, Louisiana. I have the address with me today.
Okay, has it been approved by probation and parole yet?
This is my first time ever dealing with anything for us like the parole or whatever.
Gotta get that address to them, because there's a sex offender that has to be approved before you could get out.
Yes, sir. I wrote it on the application or whatever, and I think I mailed it to you guys.
Okay. Is there anyone from the facility in there with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I speak to them real quickly?
They will speak to you. Here he is.
Hello. Yes, sir. State your name again for the record.
William Logan Phillips.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, have y'all had any problems with Mr. Atkins since he's been there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing that you're aware of?
No, sir.
And y'all don't have any classes there besides, sex offender classes?
We have GED, workforce training, and I believe they have that training that you just said, but I'm not sure about anything else. No, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Mr. Atkins, are you aware there's a detainer from DeSoto Parish?
No, ma'am, I didn't know anything about that.
A note say there's a detainer from DeSoto Parish for probation violation.
Probation violation. So what are they asking of me to do?
Well, I don't know. That's up to you to figure out. I don't know. I just noted in the record. I wanted to know if you know. So your cousin, the victim here, says that you and she was 10, I believe, at the time of your arrest. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And says that you abused her beginning at the age of 6. So it went on for a period of time. So what did you learn in the sex offender treatment class?
During the time of my incarceration and the time period of I took the risk management program, the sex offense class, phases 1 through 4, I learned a lot about these type of situations. I never dealt with anything like this. I'm not a troublemaker. It was just a mistake that I made at a young age. I have matured in my time of incarceration. I have learned how to deal with these things, sex offender wise.
So how would you deal with it?
Well, I have the packets with me as well from the classes, and I passed the tests as well. Well, you don't go like you see kids in certain places like the park and stuff like that. You don't go and approach them sexually in a sexually manner. Like that's a big no-no. That's things you don't do.
Is that something new that you learned?
Well, I've been new that because that's not my MO. So I've been new. That's common sense to me. That's something you don't do. Like dealing with kids, they're innocent. Why would you want to do this? So I have already knew those things.
Okay, all right. Let's hear from the folks. Any questions? Let's hear from your mother, Miss Atkins. What would you like us to know?
Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Ma'am, we can.
Good morning. How you all doing? My name is Lakeela Atkins, and I'm Jatavius' mother. And yes, ma'am. My son has been like you said, incarcerated for 7 years. It's a lot he's lost in those 7 years, and that I've lost, like my mother, his great grandmother as well, and grandmother. Just talking to him on a daily basis, being from Caddo to Franklin Parish, I really think he was with the wrong crowd, and I really think he got his life back on track. I did speak with his previous employer, Santa Maria Produce Company, and he's eligible for rehire. They're waiting on him. I just really think that he got his head on straight, and he know which direction he needs to take now. And me and my brother, and I also have a younger son. We're very, very supportive. We have uncles that is very supportive, waiting on him to get out, to show that he's not the person he's been labeled to be, or to even do those things that, took place back in whatever years those was, whether it took place or not. But we're very supportive, and like I said, he have a place to live, have employment waiting on him. He has missed a lot.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, thank you for sharing those remarks with us. And Mr. Brian Mitchell, we'd like to hear from you, sir. Is Mr. Mitchell on?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't get it off of mute.
Okay. Go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am.
I would just like to say that Jatavius will be well supported once released. He has a strong family background, and we're here to do whatever it takes to ensure that he has the tools and guidance that is needed to assist him to be the great young man that he can be. Like was stated, he does have his previous job. I would love to have him back. I'll work with him personally on getting his GED and to get reestablished into society. And we're just here waiting on him with open arms and love to make sure that he is directed back onto the path of success.
All right, thank you, sir. I think
Thank you.
Mr. Atkins, Jatavius, is there anything you want to say to us before we vote?
I would just like to say I thank you all for this opportunity. I thank my family members as well for the support that they have given me, and I just thank you all.
All right, sir. I think we are prepared to vote. Mr. Freeman?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Atkins, you're doing all the right things. They're just, we got to get you to a place where there's more classes. You need to take some anger management, some thinking for a change and things like that. You've served 6 years, you pled to a reduced charge. So my vote today is to deny, but tell you you're on the right track, and we're gonna recommend that you be sent to a place where classes are offered.
Yes, sir.
Take some classes and reapply.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mrs. Stapleton?
I concur with my colleague, Mr. Freeman. Also, I can agree with what the DA said, that they're very concerned that since you molested children at such a young age, this child at such a young age, that you're a danger to the other family members. And then if your residency plan is to go back to your family, I'm sure P&P would be very concerned that your victim would have no contact with you, because that would be very traumatizing. So my vote today is to deny and for you to get more classes.
All right, Mr. Atkins, I do agree. I want to commend you for seeking out classes. You've asked several times. It's not your fault, but the policy at the prison there doesn't allow you to take those classes because of your outdate. So we're gonna, I agree. I think you need more classes, and so my vote is to deny based on the opposition that's been expressed by law enforcement in the DA's office, but also agree with Mr. Freeman to make the recommendation to move you so that you can take advantage of some program opportunities. You'll get another chance to reapply. We're going to send you some instructions on when you'll be able to reapply, to get some more classes under your belt, and hopefully you'll be able to have your GED too. We want you ready for moves.
Yes, ma'am.
So today, sir, your parole's being denied, and we're going to try to get you some more help.
Yes,
Good luck
ma'am.
to you, sir. That concludes our business in Franklin Parish. We're going to adjourn today. It's at 11:01 a.m. Good luck to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.